Calling the meeting of the Delaware County Regional Wastewater meeting February 4th, 2025 to order. Penny, will you call the roll, please?
Pete.
Here.
Ray. Here. Josh.
Present.
Bill.
Here.
Brenda. Here.
Here. Okay. First item on the agenda is the election of officers. Is everybody staying? Everybody's here that's here. The only one that's not here is Joe. Everybody, me and Ray were the two appointments for this year. Well, normally I would make Joe president.
Well, she's
For
not
failing
here.
to
That's
miss
the
the
perfect
meeting.
time to do it. She's
But-
not here.
With that said, if you'll continue to have me as treasurer, I will make the recommendation that we keep the continued slate of officers. Second. And I'll make that motion. So, yeah. Second. Okay, I've got a first and a second. Any discussion? And please go down. It's me, Ray, Pete, Joe. Correct? Everybody good? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion approved. Minutes of the previous meeting, January 2nd, were distributed. I'd so entertain. Second. We got a first and second. Any changes, additions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Approved. Treasurer. Claims from December 27th, 2024 through January 29th, 2025. Total $1,183,940.11. Account balances as of January 29th. Penny. Open it up there. $420,000. Nice job. Yep. The improvement fund balance currently sits at $2,120,000 and $120,013.72. We have received the Daleville transfer of $9,411, and there's an Indiana Bond Bank transfer of $18,663,000. There are currently 5 CDs sitting in there. I would make the motion to approve the claims in the amount of $1,183,940.11. Second. I have a first and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Approved. Okay, old business I have none on, so we jump to new business. Jason, would you like to take Roar to number 2?
Yes, so when we started the Roriton construction project, we got, Brackney was in, we went ahead and had them quote us, in addition to the project to, get the number 2, lift station's, control panel replaced. It came in like $47,000 panel with a $47,000 install on it. Rob, myself, Scott, we all felt like that was outrageous. We went ahead and went back with one of our, got quotes from 3 of our vendors that we use, Xylem, Indiana Pump Works, and Quality Repair. Quality Repair came at $16,989. Xylem was $13,084.20, and Indiana Pump was $13,120. I actually want to make the recommendation that we move forward with Quality Repair, with it being $16,989. And the only difference is, when we looked at the other 2 pumps, everybody else wanted to do time and materials for the install. And once we get about 2 days in there, we're definitely going to be over that 16,000 number. So Quality went ahead and quoted us out for install as well on that. So that's why it's higher.
Your recommendation is Quality Repair at $16,989.
Yep, they've done the last 3 for us and done a great job. This one's a little more expensive, bigger panel, and plus it's stainless steel. So
Got it. How's the board feel?
I would, with Jason's recommendation, I will make the motion to approve Quality Repair at $16,989.
second.
I've got a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion approved.
All right, next one is we have Camac Sewer, bin design invoice, $13,350, and then also, Commonwealth submitted the invoice for their ongoing, Roriton sanitary sewer improvements project for $26,155. 26,000. Wait a second here. Yeah, we got
We got one too many numbers in there in the second.
6,551.61.
Okay. I thought we were going Greek or something there for a minute.
Yeah. I make the recommendation that we move forward and get these paid. The Camac sewer bid, the work's already been approved. when they initiated that contract for bid and design. And this is for the Roriton, that's just the ongoing on-call and, inspection process of the Roriton project, so we're making great headway on both of those right now.
I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
I've got a first and a second to approve both bids, or both costs. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Approved.
Next one is, Roriton pole barn fence and gate, replacement and repair. If you go out there, we've had a fence that's been there as long as I have, along with two sliding door gates that we do nothing but catch issues with. We went ahead and looked at getting those both replaced. We had two quotes come in. MBBS fencing out of Bluffton, $7,800, and All American, which was a little more local here, was $11,400. Be replacing 200 plus foot of fence and adding a sliding gate. My recommendation is we move forward with MBBS fencing and get that taken care of.
Make a motion to approve the $7,800.
A second.
I've got a first and a second. Let me just go back on this. I asked for this and recommend, had some money left over. We've done a lot of improvements out there. The parking lot we know gets redone. The barn's now been redone. This ties in with, that's right next to their water park, and this kind of finishes up the last little bit to make us bring things up to speed and up to snuff.
Would it make sense to get a quote to have an automatic opener put on it as well? That way it's closing and we know it's closed so that people aren't getting into it and everything else. So you just have it timed. You could go in.
I can definitely get that priced out, and this was just a little bit more, a little cheaper on our end, but yeah.
I just think from a security standpoint, it's one of those things that
I've got a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the fencing. Let's let him get a price. He can bring that back to us. And if it's something, you put it out in an email, if you would, if it's with MBBS, if they've got it and can install it before we get back to next meeting, can we let it go on it, put it out on the email?
Yep.
Let's see the response there.
Yep.
Okay, good?
Yeah.
All right, I've got a first and second. Any discussion further? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion approved.
Another item that's on the new business, it was November and December, we moved some, old equipment, non-used, stuff that wasn't being used around or hadn't been used for decades, and we moved that to surplus items. Kind of worked with the guys in the last month, going back through, our barns and stuff to see what has just been sitting around and not being used. We brought a couple different, other items that I'd like to get added, to surplus, and we could get those up on bid and get those moved out. One of the items is two pumps from the current Roriton improvements project that were pulled out of the number one station. Then we had some 6-inch bypass hose and adapters. We got rid of that old 6-inch pump. We're gonna add that if the board's feels comfortable doing that. We had a spare motor from 600. Some of you might be familiar with it, but before we did the 600 and Westbrook improvements project, there was this bypass pump, wet well pump that sat inside the manhole, and we had looked like a spider web of discharge piping that was going into a force main. That pump, since we did the improvements project, is just sitting in the 600. It's as big as I am, and we have no needs for it. It's been it was actually leased through Xylem when we started having these issues 15 years ago, and they kept it so long and used it so long. They just gave it to us. That pretty much happened. Then that pump also has a control panel that would go with it. Then additional items is we have 3 shut-off and isolation valves. During the 600 project, when contractors bought raw materials, they were granted a replacements on the right ones, right size for the force main at 600. Those were left at the site and been there since 2021 now. 2023. And we don't have any 6-inch force mains that those could be used on. So get those out of the way. And also there's a standalone transformer. It's about the size of a backpack that's been in there for 25 plus years as well. And, wait a second here. Oh yeah, 5 E1 pumps. Most old the E1 pumps that we use in the grinder pits that have been in the barn for years. They're all needed repair, and they were typically ones that were warrantied out, and also outside of these 5, we have another 5 on hand that's in the barn that are good. Plus, we were given additional 3 when we did the Overlook Drive project, so this just moves out some of the old stuff that's
So we're sitting on 8 good ones.
8 good ones, yeah. That just want to get those to surplus. Hopefully, somebody can use some of this stuff, and be my recommendation that we do the same. Get those moved over and hopefully use those funds somewhere else.
How would the board like to proceed?
I'd move to declare them surplus.
I've got a first and second. Any further discussion?
Will we sell? Is that, we'll advertise them for public bid? What do we?
We'll put them, once they're moved to surplus, we'll put them on the auction website.
Okay.
With those other 3.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Surplus. Approved.
All right. A little bit of a collections update. Last month, we were at $5,435.51 of the entire collection area. As of yesterday, we were at $2,455.94. So it's doing pretty well as far as collections is going. We did have one property disconnected in the month. And give you an update on those other surplus items did sell into the board make a recommendation. We had reach out to the highest bidder on that standalone generator. Got with them. They ended up taking it at that $12,000 that we had spoke about. So we collected over $18,000 with some of those surplus items so far. And part of Penny's board packet this month was the final December budget. When you guys look at it, it could probably be a little deceiving as far as you see some big line items there. If you move to contractual services, it appears that it's $2,148,695 over budget. What those end up being is getting thrown on the budget because we paid them out of the Indiana bond. So even though they're hitting the audit trail and everything, we're still throwing them on the budget. But as far as the actual budget goes and what we out of items that didn't fall within ARP funds or bond payments that were getting processed for the Wharton job, it actually we ended up 2024 really well. We just short of $600,000 under budget. So did pretty well there, and that's with the action outside of even the projects in Overlook and what's currently going on in Westbrook. I really feel like we got a lot accomplished in other parts of the district too. We got new alarm systems, other upgrades elsewhere, 3 new panels, pumps consistently going in. We're getting a lot done. Whole barn redone. So I'm
Still
happy.
came in 600,000 under.
Yeah, still $600,000 under budget, and that is with.
I'll take that every year and then some. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also with we started 2024 on a budgeted amount for Westbrook, and we entered into a new contract with Yorktown that bumped it up a little bit. So there was some stuff in there that wasn't completely figured in, but as a whole, still just short of $600,000 under.
Good job.
Yeah.
Anything else, sir?
Do you want to mention how much we made on our CDs?
Yeah, so we looked at CDs again. I know we were kind of wondering, where direction with that 4% number. Luckily enough, we were able to secure 4.25 on the last CD of $300K. But as a whole, interest claimed in 2024 was just $78,000 of interest made on those 5 CDs there. So
Excellent.
yeah,
Good job.
With the next one rolling over here in February, Ray says you have to do better than 4.25.
Absolutely. We do what we can.
They need to get in there early, don't they?
That's right.
We'll check with, again, check with Old National like we have in the past, if we can get over there, just because of the direction that we've been given at 4%, we'll stay there, but Dan's ever made the comment that downstairs are getting some pretty good rates, and maybe talk to them and see what they're doing as well, so we'll continue to shop if need be, and, the other things I got are, Danielle can kind of, elaborate on a little bit more too. Jennifer has sent us a service agreement for 2025. Danielle has looked over it, and we'll probably make a recommendation on that. And the last one I just signed, so if the boards, they so choose, I'll move forward with that. Then, really, we have a hardship case that I wanted to bring to the board's attention. I kind of spoke with Brenda about it, and one reason, I think since we've had the last hardship case, Brenda's the only one that's still on it, that was part of that. So, we have a resident out in Roriton, 10800s, State Road 3. They've been disconnected multiple times. This would actually be the one we're speaking, it's their fourth disconnection process. We caught Havoc trying to, stop them from, tampering with the valve. And the gentleman that actually owns the house has multiple individuals living with them, has a lot of, health issues, but still asked me to bring it to the board. Property was disconnected in August, short of $700 owed right now. It's lien on the taxes. The health department's finally got involved, and between the health department getting involved, I think is what's initiated the hardship case. Like I said, four different disconnections. We have added tampering in the past on the gentleman. I don't know how far it's going to get us. They really don't have nothing to come up with. So, I don't know what we're going to do by adding additional $2,500 on this guy. But I also don't necessarily know if it's the right time for the hardship committee to meet with them and possibly knock off his bill, considering that we've had issues with tampering. And I believe that the only reason that ball got started rolling with the meeting with the hardship is now because the health department's involved. So I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention, just from my past dealings, and being the fourth time repeat offender, my recommendation would not necessarily be to move forward and, looking at writing this bill off or necessarily a payment plan. And, we've told them the process of where they have to pay. It's down the treasurers, and even the health department's expressed that. And he had originally told, well, I'm gonna get up there and pay. Never happened. And then the hardship letter came, and I see it as a situation goes, you're gonna be beating yourself head into the door that this might not go anywhere if we uncap it. But to being its fourth time, I'd be worried we find ourselves in the same situation in another 2 months if we start writing stuff off and he's not paying even if he was making a payment plan. So I don't.
Are you showing this guy as the owner?
It just got, and that's another thing. The house just got repossessed.
That's what I was gonna say,
And I
because
don't
that's not in his name.
necessarily know if we want to make a hardship with somebody that own the house.
What was the time between this turnoff and the one before?
3 months. I mean, we literally got paid on taxes. It was capped for the third time, got paid on taxes, disconnected it, went 3 billion cycles, got recapped again. Without any payment in that time frame there.
Who besides Brenda was on the hardship committee?
Mike Jacobs, and it might have been Joe.
I think it was Joe, but she's not on it anymore. This shows a different ownership of that.
Yeah. go. There it is. Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it transferred over to this new company, in November, the 11/27/24.
Yeah.
It went to Homes Free Enterprise.
Kind of like tax sale, maybe? Yeah.
It says its sale price $19,000, so it
Yeah, he said
evidently has.
he even mentioned today, and before today, I've made attempts, probably 10 different attempts to contact him with the information he's left with us.
No.
And I couldn't reach him. And then finally today, I actually tried, and the number they all share got minutes on it. And so that's another worry of mine. If we move forward with the payment plan or any type of write-off, what's the likelihood that we can touch base other than going out there? We went out there even in the 4 different times of being cut off, knocked on the door, tried to make contact. And I think, again, the only reason we're getting anywhere now is because the health department is involved.
Brenda, I'd like to know your comments.
Well, yeah, it's kind of concerning to me. I would prefer not to make a plan with this guy since his name's not even in the ownership of it any longer. I think we need to contact the people who own it now and see what their arrangements are, because it can't go anywhere.
Here's mine. So we're saying we think that it was bought in the tax sale. So he's got a year to come up with how it was
Well,
purchased
could
or
be.
lose the property.
Was it last November or
November 27/24.
24? So, yeah, and it wouldn't have transferred.
They wouldn't
It
have a
just
tax
happened.
deed
It's
Yeah, they
until
wouldn't
this
have a
November,
tax deed yet.
It's just,
unless it was sold in the 23 tax sale.
yeah, it wouldn't. So, yeah, but basically, by it being here, it says they're in charge.
Okay, and I'm not trying to do the deal. I'm just thinking because something you said that an elderly. We tap this, then health department, then they're forced out of this home in the coldest 2 months of the year. I'm just putting that on the table.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, this is where we're at. I just want it all to be considered.
Sending Danielle after, if we do set up any type of payment plan, Davey has no recourse of
What?
property. You got a question specifically?
Hey, I'm going 2 different ways.
I haven't said anything.
No, it was right, and I know you're gonna blame. I'm sorry, Jason, I cut you off. Finish with.
If we do set up a plan and we just, reconnect it and there's delinquency on it, how do we go about, maybe it's a question for Danielle, if he doesn't pay those 2 months, I can't leave the property, can I? I shut it off, and do I leave the property? He's not the certified owner.
He's not the owner of the property.
Yes.
Okay.
You do, the lien still goes against the property.
Thing goes on the house,
Yes,
not the
it
owner.
stays with the property.
Yep. Okay, I'm sorry, Ray. I was going this way, and
No, I'm fine.
okay, I didn't know if there was something down here you guys want to get out. Okay,
I think Josh had a question.
Josh?
I was gonna ask, and this is, so in the coldest time of the year, we untap it, what's the risk of, like, and that may be a dumb question, but why not untap it?
If we cap it and it's unsuitable to live in after so many days, that Department of Health is gonna put up a red flag and make them move out because they haven't taken care of the deal. So we're forcing someone out of the home in the coldest 2 months of the year. That's all. I'm not saying yes or no. I'm not telling the board what to do. I'm just saying I was just putting all the facts on the table because if we cut it and capped it and they can't flush, then the Department of Health's gonna have them move out. I mean, they're gonna be it's gonna be shut down.
Can't flush
I'm
now
with you.
anyway, because it's blocked off.
You see what I'm saying?
But,
It's just, I'm just taking, I want everything on the table before a decision's made.
So it is capped now.
Yes.
well, and he's gone in there and drilled it so that the liquids will come out, according to what
And
Jason told me.
they got pretty slick. They went as far as cutting our lock, then they cut our lock a couple different times, then they went as far, so the way that plug works, it's actually like a big ball that sits down in it, and they've drilled a hole in the side of it underneath the ground, and where they could get a pair of pliers and they could lift that ball up. So,
Yeah, see, I'm not inclined to do anything for
and
somebody
that's
that's
where I
already,
personally started.
already.
Do we have to vote to send it to the board, the review board, for hardship? Are we able to pay how it goes?
Depends on if you want it to go to hardship or if you want it to stay, if you want to go capped and move on. Right now, he's just put it on the table, so.
It's it's already capped though, so that's, I don't know what the people who've taken possession of the property, can make him get out anyway. If he doesn't own it any longer, so.
Yeah.
It does, I know, I've been in real estate 34 years, I understand it, but, yeah, I'm familiar with it, but, I've got a really soft heart, but I don't have a soft heart for people who damage other people's property and then try to get by with it. If I knew a little bit more about the story, I'd make a lot better decision, I think, but from what Jason's told me, he's done everything he can to finagle and booger us up.
You know, Brenda, I agree with you, but when they start tampering,
Exactly.
that is stealing.
Yep, that's exactly my feeling.
Free.
Yep.
And I have no use for them.
Well, and like I said, I've got a big heart, but I don't approve of that kind of stuff.
I agree with you.
Absolutely do not.
We've assessed the tampering fees on before.
So then another question is, you guys as a board, assess a tampering fee.
Okay, let me take one at a time. Let's take the first one first and then go back and address the tamping fee separately from it, because the tamping fee would go to the house, is it not? Would go to the lien? Okay, so hardship was what was asked first. Do I have
A motion to not approve the hardship and to keep the property. Yeah.
second? I have a first and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hardship's not approved. Tampering.
I don't wanna charge the homeowner a tampering fee, but, I mean, it's damage. I would say we notify the authorities that it's been damaged and allow them to make a case and go where it goes. Right? That's my motion.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Turn it over to law enforcement and let them take the course as far as tampering with something that we've already installed and damaging our property. Any further discussion?
Well, here's my side of it. It's gonna go to the person who owns it now. It's gonna injure them and not the guy. That's the big thing. And if he can't pay what he's got there now, he's not gonna be able to pay that.
We're not putting a fee on there, Brenda. We're turning the damage over to the police department, allowing the police department to punish the people that did the damage.
Well, that'll be a whole different story.
That's my motion.
As long as it doesn't go onto the people who own it currently, they didn't do anything.
Right.
If we're filing a claim that our part of our property's been damaged, then that's a police report, and then it would go through.
Can I ask a question, Jason? As it sits right now, is it currently tampered with?
No, it's not tampered with, and
It's just what they've done in the past?
yeah, I mean, if you wanna call it damage or tampering,
Either one's against the law.
yes, I agree, and yeah, I mean, they haven't knocked down our pipe or anything, but they've definitely drilled a hole in it to steal utility.
And so right now there's a hole in it?
No,
Okay.
They've repaired
we've
that.
repaired it, and
So I guess the reason I'm asking is, do
That's
you
it.
want me to report what they've done and
When was that done? I thought that was done recently. That's my,
within the last month and a half.
oh, yeah.
Yes.
And we got pictures of this in repairing it?
Right, that's what I
You got
wanna-
pictures? And
And so it switched to the new owner in November,
24.
so that's not going, so then so then we can say that the police are going to give to the police and say, hey, it was the previous owner. But it occurred technically when the new owner has ownership. I don't know. it sounds-
Police can look
It
into that.
really doesn't matter who owns the house. It matters who tampered with the pipe. It doesn't matter who owns the house. Who tampered with the pipe. We're not going for a lien.
Is already that. Yeah, this guy only got the property in, September of 23. So he started out a history with it, sounds like. Does it go back that far?
It was family before. We got it through
Okay.
a death.
Yeah,
And he
well,
was living there the entire,
it says he paid 19,000 for it and they paid 19,000 for it, so. It just depends on what the records are like too, so.
Okay, I have a first and a second on the table. Any further discussion as far as turning it over to law enforcement? File a claim against me. Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Oppose? Approved. So move forward.
That's all I got.
Okay, second, now, before we go there and we go any further, since we got the board here, in case this comes up again, Brenda's on there, how do we want to proceed with, Brenda, do you want to stay on the hardship committee? Okay, I need two more board members. Since Joe isn't here, I'd nominate Joe. I was gonna take that one before anybody else did.
I'm glad she can blame it on you.
Josh? And Josh. All right, that's the new hardship committee. Okay, Danielle, are you done, Jason?
Yes, that's
Okay,
all I got.
Danielle, your turn.
Brenda, Joe, Josh.
Brenda, Joe, Josh.
Pro service agreement is similar to the other ones that you signed, so I think that can go ahead and be approved today. Didn't have any issues with it.
So moved.
Hang on a second, got one, she just shot you with a motion. I've got a motion on the approval of Crow.
Second.
I've got a second, was there an increase on that, Jason, or is it just a
No.
repeat of the same contract?
Same time.
I've got a first and a second, no increase, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
Sent a request for an update to Dan on Wasson Nursery, but I didn't do it till this week, so, that's why I don't have a response yet. That's not on him, that's on me. The next thing is an MSD update on our rate. So we were able to have a meeting, we've had a couple of meetings actually. The committee has met and gone over things with Jennifer, looked at the contract, looked at the evaluation. I think Jennifer's done, you guys have all seen the response to, Joe Retz. She did an excellent job, I think, outlining everything. We have not heard anything from their council, so I think that letter was sent out December 13th. So as a result, I prepared a letter consistent with the contract to say that we invoke the arbitration clause, because that's our only remedy that we have available, or the next remedy, I should say, available to dispute the fees. Your contract says that if there is a disputed rate increase, both parties have to perform by the contract. So, if MSD is billing you, they can bill you, you are required to pay the bill, but the portion of the fees that are disputed are to be put in a separate account. So, on top of not complying with the contract, they billed January to the 327 rate, which isn't even the rate they're proposing, so it's very unclear where they're getting their math from, but that would mean they've decided to bill December at this higher rate, which isn't even a part of the equation, so I can't explain to you why they're doing what they're doing, but as a result, we've paid what our actual bill is supposed to be right now and taken the difference of the amount. Jason and Penny have gone, they've opened a new account, and we are holding the difference in those funds in a separate new account until we can settle this dispute.
Just to make clear, we pay those at $268 on the original contract, put the rest of it in the separate account. Okay.
So, as a result of meeting with the committee, we talked through the fact that we have a new commissioner that was actually a signer on the contract or involved in those contract discussions for MSD, and I thought it would be a good idea to bring him in and discuss this matter with him as a county commissioner. So we met with him, was that just yesterday?
Yeah.
So we had, I thought, a really good meeting with Stephen Brand. We explained to him where everything is at. Obviously, I don't think anybody wants to pay for arbitration. It's expensive, but it's the recourse we have in our contract. So he is going to take the information, we gave him the contract, Jennifer's evaluation, the explanation as to why they have come up with those numbers from Joe Retz, so he can digest all of that, and then he is going to set a meeting with MSD to see if he can make any traction with them in the discussion and maybe avoid arbitration for both parties, and then give us an update as soon as he gets something scheduled with them. So, at the rate he's going so far, I'm sure he'll get that meeting set up quickly. and get back to us rather quickly. So as soon as we hear from him, we'll get back to you guys with the information. But in the meantime, we'll pay the $268 and the rest will go into that separate account. Does anyone have questions for kind of where this dispute is currently sitting or the meetings that we've had? Other than I told you so's, not me, because I told you so's too, but
I think, no, and just to reiterate, Steve, it was a very good meeting, and Steven, I think, understood where we were at. We don't want something that we're not entitled to, we just want it lived up to the contract that we done. As some of it was done in there, a little more deal, there was a debt load service that was in 21, 22, put back in, figured in, and some other stuff, engineering costs that was not in the original contract. All we want is to be treated to the contract that we agreed to for 25 years that we signed last year. That's it, nothing more, nothing less,
with the same formula.
with the same formula that we used.
That was the
Yep.
the biggest part of the,
So we'll let him have the
Discussions.
meeting and see what he comes back to us after that, and then we'll know where we, as the committee, will get back together. If we can't gain any ground, then we've only got one alternative, and that is arbitration to move forward. Hopefully, he'll get them talked in where we can let the two accountants talk to each other and get it and go through the deal and realize where the differences are there and try and bridge this gap.
Just high level, we go to arbitration. What, I mean, is there any way out of the contract?
No,
not without damages,
there'd be some severe damages. We agreed not to go to court. It was all arbitration,
binding arbitration.
binding arbitration. Their decision is final. Once we take that route and open that door, that's for or against, that's whatever it is, it is.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
And we did on the, I'm sorry,
Sorry,
Thanks for the arbitration.
we both do. Split, we both do.
Parties are close.
and I
They get
will,
one, we get one.
I will say that was not addressed in the contract, but the presumption is we pay for our arbitrator, they pay for their arbitrator, but those two arbitrators get one, and so ideally it's just split equally, but that is not specifically spelled out in the contract.
It just says we
That's
go to
just the
arbitration.
default. So that was one note I took that
We need,
we need to clarify. And on the arbitrator, point of that, we talked to Jennifer and I have reached out to a potential arbitrator who said he's willing to serve. He did a quick conflict check and, he is good to go. So I put his name in the letter that I sent them as our pick for an arbitrator. He's done wastewater stuff for, I think, 25 or 30 years, something like that.
you guys that don't know, it's first come, first served, gets in, there's no conflict, so we picked one to make sure that we had one in the game with it. We weren't gonna get bumped at the last minute.
Jennifer had a couple
call
of
by Danielle.
suggestions, but one of them, the firm has worked with MSD in the past, so
Yep.
we assumed there would be a conflict with her second, suggestion, so we went ahead and just didn't even reach out to him first.
Just in case.
The last thing I have is a couple people have asked me about Zoom appearances for if they're not able to make meetings. You guys have talked about that in the past and the times have changed and I thought it'd be a good time to bring it back up. And since Joe's not here, maybe we talk about it some more in the March meeting, but if you guys want to adopt an ordinance so people can appear occasionally for a meeting by Zoom, if they are not able to be here in person, we can get that drafted. It did not pass last time you guys talked about it, so I don't know what everyone's feelings are, but just thought I would throw that
I
out.
brought this back up when we did it because everything is going digital and everybody is busy. I think the state law, if I remember, and I don't quote me, I think it was 2 meetings a year is all you can do. That's 2 vacations a year you may be on. We're on this board for a reason, and it shouldn't uphold your vacations and all that. You shouldn't have to plan around there. I don't see where if we're out just 2 times a year that we couldn't do Zoom and let everybody on. I don't want to do it now because I want Joe to be here. I know she was against it at the last one, so I don't want to do anything until we have a full board consensus. Just like you to take it under consideration for this month, and we'll address it next month and bring it up and see where the board wants to go from there. As of July 1, is just a good deal. We're going live stream. We talked about that. That's going in. That's legislation put on us. So
So, what we're currently recording now will just go live.
we'll go
our
live
YouTube.
and then and still have everything will be the same as it is, other than we're going to be live streaming at the same time now.
Okay.
So, by state statute.
Yeah.
So, the transaction world is leaving. We're all going digital. Everything's going down to digital and online. And I think the Zoom and the meetings are the same, to me, the same way. Pete, you're out, you get called for things too.
Yeah.
The rest of us vacation, if it so happens, and there's only 2 a year, well, an illness or whatever it is, you can still participate in the meeting.
Yeah, normally I'm the guy that's against this, but considering I'm also the guy that's calling Jason asking him to move meetings.
And that's the other side of the coin, moving around and trying to adjust. Everybody's
Yeah.
getting very busy and our schedules are more set 2 and 3 weeks out in advance. And it's kind of tough to move a meeting, especially up at the last minute, where if, hey, you're the only one that can't be out, zoom in and let's go. That was the whole purpose of it. So, okay.
On the live streaming, I also have been keeping a master list from the listservs for about the last year, as people have talked about what towns and municipalities, different organizations have been using. So I can send you guys a list on the different services people are using for that. We can also just use the same as what Mark has done for the county and the groups within the county, like the redevelopment commission, and he uploads them to YouTube. And to me, that's the simple route. That's what he's used to. He does everything else for the county, but I can also give you the information that I've been collecting just so you have it, and if somebody wants to look into something, you can.
I think we're responsible to the constituents and taxpayer dollars. I'd like to see at least a couple of quotes. I'd love to get one from Mark as well, but Jason, if you would get the information from Danielle, and let's reach out to a couple more. Let's make sure that we're in line and that we're being good stewards of the money. Okay.
So like that.
Okay. Miss Ashley.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I was late sending the report. And the whole Tuesday thing, Pete, this is your fault.
My
I'm just
apologies,
gonna blame
Ashley,
you.
Okay. Good place to put the blame.
That's right.
That's right. So I don't know if you guys saw, Jason did a video in January. It was a 2024 recap and what's to come in 2025. It's had over 200 views on YouTube and a nice comment. Just somebody posted on YouTube, which you don't always see too much, that they just thought that was a really good recap. So I wanted to make sure you knew that, Jason. I also want you guys to know that Ron has stepped up and agreed to do a video. Thank you, Ron.
So we're starting at that end of the table.
Brenda, you're next.
I'll go sit down there next.
No, you're next.
So the other board members, I'm gonna hope that there's a line that's excited to do the other videos. So thank you, Ron, for doing that. We'll be sure to get that on the calendar. We had several updates in January on the website, plus on social media. If you look at the analytics, you'll notice, again, the more posts that we put on the website, the more traffic that we are generating to the website. Your email, again, you have great email analytics. So you had 884 opens and then 30 clicks to the different posts or videos on there. Do you have any questions, comments?
I think, what did I see? 3 people that unsubscribed at the bottom?
Yeah,
and
so
that was
just
it.
3 people unsubscribed.
The traffic is staying high on the website, so I think it's been one of the better things that we've done. It keeps the community informed, and I don't know what the phone calls have been like in the office, but they should be down.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing that I've noticed is people calling in because they think they're calling somebody else. They think they're calling waste management, or they think they're taking their trash. If somebody took my toters or something.
Those are a lot easier phone calls than arguing over a bill.
It is.
There you go. Nope, sorry, wrong number. Here, let me give you the right one.
That's it.
Good deal.
Get you where you need to go.
There you go. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Okay, we already took care of the hardship.
I know Rob ain't here, but I
You gotta come out, you got an update?
So we had originally planned on doing bid opening for Kamak on Monday. We had a couple of contractors that asked for some addendums to the original bid packet, we sent that out. We've actually already had two bids in hand, both of those are resubmitting based on the addendum. We're doing bid openings Friday, afternoon at 1 o'clock. Rob had mentioned, once we get those in hand, possibly setting up a early meeting and, here this month to review with the board and possibly give some direction whether we're gonna, move forward, just where these bids come in at. One of the things we gotta be, cautious of, and the last part of that Kamak inlining job takes place in, some farm field. I've already reached out to the landowner and the farmer on that, and it looks like a plant in May, so, we just wanna make sure the contractors are aware, and that's part of the addendum too, so Rob's thinking if these numbers come in where we're comfortable with, getting this out earlier than later is gonna be a positive thing for that last section of inlining.
Can they start with that section?
Oh, yeah, definitely could.
Okay, so in other words, if we get it approved prior to February and they can have a start date of March 1, they can get in there before
Yeah,
planning is what we're trying to do, right?
and the two contractors that actually came to our pre-bid meeting, I mean, I think that everybody's gonna look at this section of, inlining as fill-in work, and we're not talking months of work here. It's gonna be a couple weeks with cleaning and televising and actually getting inline done. It's gonna be fairly quick, so.
So are we, how do we wanna move forward on this? You said before February, we get it in before March. Do we wanna, when you open the bids on Friday, do you wanna report to the board, send it out to the board and ask for our recommendation?
I'll report to the board what numbers came in at, then I would suspect, early next week that Rob's gonna have a recommendation after he reviews all bid packets. So, then after that, I'm more than happy to go ahead and set up a meeting if that's what we wanna do, and, or if the board feels like where the bids come in at, well, if they feel like it's worthy of setting up a special meeting to get something approved, then that's what we'll do.
What was the engineer's estimate?
Around 650K, then, I think it's coming in a little bit lower after they did design and everything. I think we're sitting at like 450 left of work to do right now, is why we're thinking that the bid numbers are gonna come in at.
If they come in at 350, we should just give Jason approval to
Yeah,
move forward today.
and based on the conversation we've had here in the past, we've expressed to the contractors that are looking at it that this is gonna be fast moving because we're more than likely not gonna bid this out. I mean, we're not gonna bond this out. We plan on paying this through the improvement funds or even the, long-term control plan that we have budgeted on that line item in the budget.
Danielle, is this something he can put out to us when the bids are open and we can give approval per email and then ratify it in the March meeting so they can get started if that'll get them in quicker so they can get it done before the planning and everything going. I'm just trying to
Yeah, and
set the table.
And also with that, I think if we get some follow-up and we've got a good winning number, Rob can touch base with those contractors and ask them what their contract looks like too. The part of that addendum was letting them know how far our plans on starting that corn in May.
Honestly, we'd only need 4 to have an official meeting, so if the numbers are right, we can put 4 of us together quickly. And if we all kind of get together on email, then we can do the meeting. I don't know if I assume the meeting's probably better to have the approval prior to signing off on everything.
Well, it's always better. But if you run into a time crunch on something, you can always ratify the decision in the next meeting.
Okay. As long as you're comfortable with it, because you're the one defending us.
If you have to, it's your last resort.
Okay.
Your best choice is always to have a meeting.
Yeah. And I think we can look at it.
Your issue comes when you do that and you approve the highest bid
Right.
to do the work. That's when you're gonna have a problem.
I say let him open the bids. He's gonna give us a timeline. Rob's gonna give a proposed, send the email out. Let's see what the returns are from everybody from the board, and then we'll go from there. If we got 4 more favorables, we move forward, ratify in the March meeting. If there's questions, then we'll call a special meeting and call who we can get to the table and open it up and dig in deeper if we need to. How's that sound? Good? Yeah. All right. Anything else? Board members? Audience? I got nothing, so with that, I would entertain. So moved. Have a first and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.